immortalized William Shakespeare's words that cowards die many times before their death, and the valiant never taste of death. It is from that patch that Raila began his own long walk for freedom and liberation, applying himself to the cause as a debt that owed to past and due to the present generations. Many times, he appeared to be on a cause much larger than himself, a mission almost impossible. The way he loved it, and he gave his life to it. In emulating the giant footsteps of his father, and the spirit of selflessness that ran deep in his heritage, Raila Odinga, just as his father once declared that there could be no freedom without the release of their leader, Jomo Kenyatta, proclaimed Kibaki Tosha, a declaration that propelled NARC to bring an end to KANU's 40-year rule. This defining act was emblematic of the man himself. Raila Odinga was Raila Odinga. He never cared what others thought about him or his actions. He cared whether people bought into his vision and mission. Once he felt he had the mandate of the people, there could be no turning back. In the process, he became Kenya's ultimate political prisoner and one of Africa's best-known freedom fighters, a dedicated and down-to-earth servant of the people of Kenya, a headache to the corrupt elite, and a beacon of hope for those struggling for freedom not only in Kenya but across Africa and beyond. Generations to come will honor him and offer gratitude. Raila Odinga cared deeply about Africa and worried eternally about its decline. For that, he applied himself to peace and reconciliation missions across the continent whenever called upon. During the 1990s, he worked closely with the International Republican Institute as a resource person for peace and conflict resolution in the war-torn countries and offered similar support to peaceful elections. The forces and issues behind him. The highest executive position he ever rose to was that of the Prime Minister of the Republic of Kenya. Following the signing of a National Accord and Reconciliation Act of 2008, which created the office to facilitate power sharing after the controversial 2007 elections. Earlier, he had served as a member of Parliament for Lang'ata constituency within the city of Nairobi from 1992. However, the hallmark of Raila's life and career was not in executive mansions and offices. It was in the struggle for freedom and democracy in Kenya and across Africa. Many times telling the continent's dictators to set their people free. It earned him outright enemies, cynical friends, and admirers in Africa and beyond. It is this record that saw him appointed as Special Peace Envoy of the African Union in February 2011. Following the post-election crisis in Côte d'Ivoire, he juggled politics, entrepreneurship, and scholarship with ease. Besides his career in politics, Mr. Odinga is also a successful businessman and entrepreneur, having founded the flagship family business, the East African Spectra, a manufacturer of gas cylinders for Kenya and the East African region. Subsequently, he founded Spectra International. Before that, he had taught at the University of Nairobi's Department of Mechanical Engineering between 1970 and 1974, and served at the Kenya Bureau of Standards, which he was instrumental in establishing. Even as he pursued all other careers, Raila understood that social, political, and economic changes in a country come through politics, and that although all politics is local, politics is also substantially international. So even as he appeared to be rabble-rousing in the trenches of Kibra and Kondele, he understood that an hour comes when he needed to dust himself off and sit in boardrooms or take a plane to global capitals to negotiate politics and policies. He did that effortlessly, moving from dusty Kamkuji grounds to a meeting in diplomatic circuits of the country within an hour. It was normal for Raila to be tear-gassed, water-hosed, and even shot at, only for him to show up at the boardroom for meetings with his tormentors as if torture at the field did not happen. He understood the place of man-to-man negotiations in the quest to influence policy and power. Raila disagreed fundamentally with many politicians, but the state of the Kenyan nation and how to transform it. But those disagreements never stopped him from sitting down with those he disagreed with or sympathizing with the views of fellow politicians. Raila believed in political parties as vehicles for advancing democracy and good governance. It is upon this belief that he was a founder member of the Forum for the Restoration of Democracy, that is Kenya, in 1991, the National Democratic Party in 1996, the Liberal Democratic Party in 1997, and in 2005, his present political vehicle, the Orange Democratic Party of Kenya. In 2013, he led his party into a coalition with other parties to form the Coalition for Reforms and Democracy, that is CORD, on whose ticket he ran for president. He challenged the election results at the Supreme Court, which ruled in favor of his opponents. He accepted the verdict and took up the leadership of the opposition. He contested the 2017 presidential election on the ticket of the National Super Alliance, that is NASA, which election ended up being nullified by the Supreme Court, but he stayed out of the subsequent contest. Mr. Odinga was once again picked by his coalition, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party, for the presidency in 2022, whose results were confirmed against him by the Supreme Court. He accepted the verdict and has led the opposition coalition. Raila's early life prepared him to be a consummate African, with early education in Kisumu and Siaya before leaving for Germany, where he began his high school education at the Herder Institute in Leipzig. He later transitioned to the Otto von Guericke University in Magdeburg in the then East Germany, where he obtained a Master of Science in Mechanical Engineering, specializing